everyone, thank you for joining us at the North Miami Beach Library. Today I'll be teaching Eyeshadow 101 to complete your face mask look. So, first things first is we're going to prime our face up till the place of where the mask would be. So I like to use, because I have dry to normal skin, I like to use the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. It's a mattifying primer and it helps to reduce the shininess. And you can get this product. I've gotten this at CVS. NYX has a store. I'm sure you can get it at Ulta. Sometimes Walmart may have those things. And you just kind of rub it in around the eyebrows, under the eyes, kind of in the areas where you mostly put on like your cream foundation, your foundations and concealers or anything like that, just to kind of keep the makeup to hold throughout the day. So yeah, this is a really good product. Can't Stop Won't Stop by NYX, and I believe it was probably about maybe $8 or $9, and you can check out your local store for that. So first things first, for me, I start off with my eyebrows and I use an angled brush. You can get these, I know Morph has them. You can probably look on Amazon for any angled eyeshadow brush. And also for concealer, I'll be using this kind of brush. It's more of a rounded brush, but it is for concealer. Some people still like to use the angled brush, but that would be up to your comfort levels. So, and for that product, you'll see me using the 3D Face Creator by Ruby Kisses. This is a level 10. You'd have to use whatever's best for your skin color. This is a level 10. And for my eyebrows, I use the Kat Von D Color in Walnut. This is a Super Brow. It's a brow pomade. This was on sale, so it was like $9, $9.99, I believe I paid for it. I think the original price is probably about $16.99 or so. And you can use any brow pomade. It's up to you. You definitely don't have to go to the higher end of things if you're not ready for it. Or you can simply use the eyeshadow pencil, eyebrow pencil, which I've gotten this one from the beauty supply store. Just check out your local beauty supply store and play around with those items. So for the brows, what I normally do is I'll start out with shaping my natural brow, just following the shape of my natural brow. And I start underneath it and I kind of pull out to where I want my brow to end. You never want to go past here, because then that makes it so you kind of want to think of like your gas needle. You don't like full empty. You don't want to go past here in the eye, and you don't want to go past here on this side of the eye. So then I'll shape up the top. And then I'll start to go in and fill it in. And you can go, I try to stay kind of light because you want it to look natural. You don't want to go too heavy and just have like that sharp dark eyebrow. So sometimes it depends on the color of the pencil or the pomade as well. And trust me, I know sometimes it seems hard, but you can get it. Practice makes perfect. And my eyebrows, they do have two different arches. I'm not sure if you could tell that just yet, but my eyebrows have two different arches, so I always have to make an arch, try to make my arches match. Remember, they don't have to be identical. They can be cousins if you want them to be. So again, I go under the brow, shape it out to how I want my brow to be. And if you don't have brows, if they're very sparse and you can't really tell them, just go with the arch of a brow, a shape that you think be more ideal for you. So don't worry if you don't have any brows and you don't have anything to follow. I just use my natural brow line as a guide. And again, testing here to make sure that I'm not going past my eye. And then we'll just go in and fill it in. So I do my primer first because I kind of want to give it a little chance to settle in before I add anything over it. Because sometimes the concealer, the foundation can blend in with it and it kind of looks choppy. So I kind of want to blend in my primer first to give it a chance to settle onto the skin. So when I add the foundation, it'll be on top of it instead of mixing with it. Okay, so now we have our brow shaped out. I'm going to go back under it and clean it up a bit with the concealer that I showed before from Ruby Kiss. It's a 3D Face Creator in the level 10. And this is also one of the bases I use for my eyeshadow. So you just kind of cut right into that line. And then I just kind of smudge it out. Now let's say you're not going to use a foundation. You see, because this is a little bit lighter than my skin. If you're not going to use a foundation and you still want to clean up the top, you can either use the same color, but you'd have to blend it out really, really well. Or you could use a different color concealer, one that's closer to your skin tone. And sometimes you can even use your foundation just to clean up around. Something that matches your skin tone completely. I'm going to go in with the same color because I am going to put foundation on my forehead. And again, you're just kind of like cutting right into that line to kind of clean up your brow a bit. And I'm blending that all the way out. And voila. Now notice, I'm here with my eyebrow. And if you don't, like if it's too dark here, if you've applied too much eyeshadow, eyebrow pomade there, you can always go back in. Don't add any new product to the brush, but just go back in the front of it with the concealer and just kind of fade that out a little. So that way you don't have that harsh line there. And then I'm going to do that again on the other side. So I'll go under. And like I said, your brows don't have to be perfectly matched, just similar. Not everybody's going to have the same eyebrow shape on both sides. I definitely don't. And you're just going to blend that out. So also today I'm going to be teaching a more natural look. And you can use these same tips that I'm showing you today. You can use these with a different color. You don't have to specifically stick to these type colors. I'm just giving you more of a everyday look versus something you'd wear going out all night on the town. So this one you can wear mostly going to work or church or wherever you're choosing to go. Just something simple and light. All right, easy enough. Just going in the front and kind of pulling that out a little. And again, you see my eyebrows. They never want to be identical, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so I think I brought those down good enough. If not, it is what it is. So anyway, so our next thing is we are going to prime our eyeshadow, our eyes. So what I normally use is a color that matches, and also the concealer that I use, some people will bring it all the way down. I typically like to use a heavier base for my eyes. So I'm using this primer by Mitchell. It's P. Louise. This one is in the color Blank Canvas. Depends on the look you're going for. I do recommend using a lighter or a darker concealer. This because I am going for a nude look. And I'm just going to apply this with my finger. I don't need a brush for this look, for this part. You'll see some people go back in with a brush, more like maybe a brush something like this, and just kind of patting it out like this. And that's just to blend it a little bit more so that when you add the eyeshadow you don't have such a harsh line. Doing it with the finger also works because you can pat it out easier. So what this base does is it helps your eyeshadow to last longer. So if you've ever applied your eyeshadow and a few hours later or a few minutes later your eyeshadow's missing, this is the reason why. The eyeshadow base is very important. Especially if you have eyes like me. I have hooded lids, so when my eyes are open you can't see my eyeshadows. So that means my eyes are rubbing against each other all day, which means every time I blink my eyeshadow is rubbing off. But with the base, it's allowing the eyeshadow, it's not allowing it to rub off because it has something to hold on to. I'm actually just going to join this across my eyes. Yes, it looks like I have on a mask, but we'll clean that up as well. Okay. And so I'm going to be using this brush I got from Revlon. It's an eyeshadow brush. You can use, like I showed the brush before. Oops, I got makeup on it. This brush here, it's the same. It's an eyeshadow brush. I just happen to like this one a little bit better because it's a little sturdier for me to use. And so for this look, because it's going to be a nude look or a neutral look, I'm going to start off with what we call a transition color. Now the transition color is a color to stop you from getting that harsh line straight across, and I'll show you the difference. Actually, let me back up and show you the difference in the base, eyeshadow with the base and eyeshadow without. So here I have the base on my hand. I'm going to show you with a brighter color so you can see the difference. So I have the eyeshadows here, and you can see one standing out far more than the other. That's the one with the base on it. And when you rub it off, the one without the base is gone. The one with the base is still there. So that's the difference, and that's what the eyeshadow base will do as far as helping you to keep your eyeshadows in place all day long. And so now I'm going to go in with my eyeshadow brush, and I'm using the Juvia's Place, the Warrior by Juvia's palette here. And And I think I got this palette for like $13.99, and of course that might have been a sale price. I do know Ulta carries the Juvia's brand. You can also go to juviasplace.com and get this palette. They do have sales going on right now, so it's a perfect time. And so this just a nude palette, has nude colors in it, which is great for any skin tone. And the colors, pigments are very well thought after. So I'm going to go in with this darker color here, which is Kafuru. And I'm just going to start right here at the corner of my eye and blend that going up. And you're just kind of creating like a V in this area here. So you're going to kind of come here, bring it down right there, and then bring it up here. A little bit more. I'm going to try and make this not too complicated, but that transition color is definitely necessary to erase those harsh lines from the eyeshadow. And this is kind of like where the eyeshadow itself will be, the area that I'm not doing right, that I'm not adding anything to right now. And I want to keep this light because we are going for a nude look. So I'm not making it too dark. I'm just blending it out. And then I'm going to go in with this lighter brown, the Yoded color. And I'm just going to further blend out any harsh line from the first color. And this is pretty much how you build up to getting those colors where you can't really tell where they start and begin and end. And that's very important. And then those who like that highlighted look under the eyebrow, I'm going in with the Zazz color. It's kind of a beige, an off-white look color. And I'm just going to go under my brow. And blend that in a little. And that way you kind of get like that ombre look. You have your highlight under the brow, but then you also have the line here for your natural look. So now I'm going to go in with, I'm actually going to switch to another palette. And this is Morphe X Kathleenlights palette. This was a gift to me, so I don't know the price of this one. But this is also a nude color palette, and the pigments are very nice as well. And I am going to go in with this brown color. These are not named, so I can show you which color. It's this color here, so you can find any palette with a color similar. And I'm just going to go and tap that all the way in. And the tapping motion I do find to be better instead of swiping across. By swiping I mean adding it like this, because what you're doing is you're swiping across your eye and you're actually wiping it off as you're wiping it on. So tapping it into place actually sets it into place, and you get a better payout on the pigments. And if you feel like that color if you feel like you're just getting that one sharp color look here, you can always go back in with your first color, which is the Kafuru. Go back over it and blend it out a little bit more. And again, you can apply this to any colors. The only thing I say when you're applying color is to think of your primary chart, your primary color chart. because those are the colors it's really going to be helpful to you. You know, when you add a yellow and a red, you're going to get orange. So you want to do colors that make new colors so that your blending will be seamless. Otherwise, you're going to get a hard stop, which you don't want to get that. And so now we're going to go over to the other eye. One thing I do want to make sure that your primer has not creased in the eyelid, because it will show up in your eyeshadow. So by creasing, I mean my eye, like I said, I have a hooded lid, which is when my eyes are open, my eyeshadows disappear. You want to make sure that your eyeshadow base has not creased. If it is creased, just kind of take your finger and go back over it. You may need to add a little bit more product, and that's fine as well. Just make sure that you blend it back out to make sure that that crease is gone, because it will show up in your eyeshadow. And once again, I'm going in with the Kufuru color, and I'm just going to place it right there in the eye, in the corner, and I'm going to pull it up with my brush. And I'm going to work it all the way over to the inner corner of my eye. And how light or dark you go is up to you. I don't want this to be too light, too dark. So I'm just going to kind of blend this out a little bit. And then again, I'm going to go in with my Yoded color, and I'm going to blend over that light orange. I mean that dark brown. And I'm going to blend that as well out to here. And then again, I'm going to go in with the Yas color right up under my brow to give it a little highlight. And I'm going to blend that out. Now, if you're not really comfortable with the blending here, then definitely stick to more of a beige color or a skin tone color so that it's not super bright and it looks like a, if you're flash with the camera, that it doesn't show up too bad. Because then it'll look ghostly under here instead of the look that you were going for. So definitely stick to more of a skin tone color here or a beige color to kind of, so that when the light hits it, if you're being flashed for any reason, you know, even in your selfies, you know, we love our selfies, you know, make sure that it doesn't flash out and make you look ghostly under the eye. Okay, and so once again, we're going to switch back to the other palette, and I'm going to go in with that color, and I'm going to fill in the middle part, the eyelid. Now notice I am using the same eyeshadow brush. Now, I will say, because I'm using mostly light colors, I'm able to do that. But if I was using a black, you'd either need to use another brush, or they have those, and I can't find mine for the life of me right now. But they have and I've seen it at Dollar Tree. There's a round, it comes in a tin like this. I did find the top, go figure, right? So I found the top. It comes in a tin like this, and I don't know if you've ever used one of those buns, the things to form a bun in the beauty supply store. It's made of that same material, and you just kind of rub the brush on it, and it'll take the eyeshadow out, and you can continue on with the same brush. Or you can get a wet paper towel and rub it against it, and it'll take out the eyeshadow. The only thing is your brush is kind of left a little moist. So, and that's pretty much, we're done with our eyeshadows as far as that is. Now, if you've brought your eyeshadow out, and some people will use tape to just kind of, to make the cleanup easier. I don't really use tape on my skin because it pulls, and of course over time the elasticity in your skin, you know, gives way to that. So what I do is I follow my line up towards the bottom of my eyebrow with the concealer, and I just clean it up. You just do a straight line, and you clean it up. And that line will help you in just a minute. I'll show you how. So I'm just gonna blend that out a little. And there we have it. And I'm gonna go back on the other side and do the same thing. And just brush it down. Excuse me, that's driving me crazy. Okay. So now we are going to go in with our, if I could find it right. We're gonna go in with our eyeshadow eyeliner now, and we are going to line our eyes. This line here comes into handy with that because we're able to follow that line as a guide to our eyeliner. So now we're going to go in with our eyeliner and we're going to line our eyes. So that concealer line that we created here is a perfect guide to getting the perfect line when you get to that side. And I'm using the NYX matte eyeliner. This is a liquid liner, and I only use liquid liner above my eye. Underneath the eye, I always use a cream. And if you're more comfortable with the cream, that's fine as well. I do recommend the liquid though. This one is really good. It mattifies, and I actually have gotten in the shower with it from me testing it on my hand, and it didn't go away without me rubbing it. So this is a really good eyeliner. I did pay $8 for this one, again at CVS. No, I got this one from Walgreens. You can definitely try CVS. I know has it. Walgreens, probably even Walmart. So definitely check those out. And so you want to brush off your eyeliner as much as you can here. You don't want it to be fully wet, like super wet. Otherwise, you're going to get a mess on your hands. And that's when it starts to bleed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that line up. And then that creates my base here. And I do know some people will bring this over here and create that triangle look there. I personally, because of course I'm used to it already. But then it's easier, I can match it up as well. And I'm not pulling on my eye. I know that's a hard habit to break, but ladies, don't pull on your skin. You don't want to take out the elasticity in your skin any earlier than it needs to be. We all know it's coming, unfortunately, right? So I'm just kind of wave this a little bit to help it dry. It kind of dries pretty fast. It's just, you know, habit for me because my eyes will start to water, and before it becomes a total mess, I like to kind of help it dry a little bit faster. And so then we're going to go on the other eye. And we're going to follow that line up again. Bring the liner over. And again, even if you do mess up on that side, you can go back in with the concealer and clean it up again. So concealer is considered your eraser, your makeup eraser. It erases all your mistakes. You don't have to wipe it off. You can just easily go back with the concealer and clean it up. The only thing I will suggest is definitely, especially if you have hooded eyes like I do, try not to blink so much while this is drying. Otherwise, especially when you're using light color eyeshadows, because you end up getting eyeliner inside of your eyeshadow, and that is hard to clean up. So imagine spending 10 minutes on one eye and all of a sudden you blink and get eyeshadow into it. What a nightmare. So you want to kind of make sure that you keep your eyes kind of low without blinking before it dries. And so ladies, we have our eyes lined. Looking good so far? Okay. So now Our eyes are pretty much done. I am going to add lashes to this look, but I'm going to do that at the very end, which is typical of me for whatever reason. Okay, and so now we're going to go in and we're going to clean this part up. You know, I'm not going to leave myself looking crazy. So, and I am using the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Liquid Foundation. This is in the color Sienna. They have a very nice line, and I actually do like this because, like I said, I do have normal to actually in my T-zone area here, I tend to be a little oily. This paired with the Can't Stop, Won't Stop face primer that we applied at in the beginning, these two work very well together. And I'm not saying that you can't use another foundation with it, but they do work very well together to keep that shine away throughout the day. And so for me, I like to apply on my hand first, and then I'll go in with my finger. Now, if you have super dark marks under your eye, you're definitely going to need a concealer, depending on if it's red or if it's dark marks. Depends on the color of the concealer you use. So if it's red, you'd probably use a green. If it's dark, you'd use an orange. You put that orange over there and then put your foundation over it. And so I'm just going to kind of stop it right about here, because when we put our mask on, it's pretty much going to be right here, the makeup. And you don't want to get makeup all over your mask. Even though I'm guilty of it, but you know, I just wash my mask because I do have fabric masks. I wash them, hand wash them to make sure that I get everything off of them. And so I'm using this foundation brush. I actually ordered these online from Amazon. They were very expensive. I ordered like 10 of them at a time. I'm a makeup artist, so I need that many, especially for wedding makeup. So we're kind of gonna see how we're just blending that in, and I'm patting it in. I'm not swiping, because again, when you swipe the makeup and you tend to get streaks of your foundation. So to avoid that streaky look, you're just going to pat it in. So you'll notice I'm getting a little on my nose. Of course, that's where my mask is, but it's fine. It's just the tip. So then I'm gonna finish blending out on my forehead. And so we're just gonna keep it kind of under the eye and up around the forehead and down the nose a bit. And that's it for the foundation. Now, if you're extra like me, I like my highlight in my brow area as well, in the middle of my forehead, to add that natural glow. So I'm going to use the the Juvia's Place concealer. This is a number 9, and again, it would depend on your skin tone what concealer you use. Normally, I would suggest maybe going 2 to 3 shades lighter, not much lighter, because again, when you get flash with the camera, it will show up and everybody will be able to see where you applied your makeup. And so I'm just gonna do like a light, just kind of like a triangle in here. And then I'm going to blend this out with a beauty blender. Most important is to wet this. Don't make it soaking wet to where it's going to add water to your forehead or to your skin. You just kind of want it moist enough. And these actually, they double in size once they're wet. So it's pretty awesome. But it does help to blend out the color or the concealer or whatever you're using it for. It helps to blend it out a little bit smoother. So I just kind of try to be careful over my brows, but I just kind of use this, try and use it and blend out here. And what it does is it adds more definition here to where you're not just having that one tone color because you did do your foundation. Keep in mind the natural skin has a bit of a glow in the forehead area, pretty much in the T-zone area. So you want to kind of add that back, but in a natural kind of way. So I take that And normally I'll do under my eyes as well, but because we're going to have on a mask, it's not necessary to do so much of here, just because my forehead is pretty much going to be the only thing shown. And then next, because I like to do under my eyes as well, and then you can omit that if you don't like it. Again, with the angled brush, this is a brush that we use for our brows, and of course it may have brow gel on it. You can use a new brush if you like. I personally hate cleaning all those brushes, so I typically stick to the same brush. I'm using a black eyeliner. This is a cream based liner. This one is by LA Girl. I'm not sure where you can get this. I do believe I got this kind of out of Ross in their makeup section, which is kind of cool to look for, especially if you're not a professional. They do have makeup palettes and stuff you can get out of there for pretty reasonable. Just things to practice with. As you get better, you can always go back and start to purchase the more expensive things. But to just practice, I definitely stick to $5.99, $6.99. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to go under my eye. And I'm going to apply my eyeliner. Now, reason for this is because I do tend to have watery eyes every once in a while. I use a cream base because I don't have to worry about this running down my face. And try not to, I see I'm doing it now, but try not to pull down as much. But you do want to get on that waterline instead of having the eyeliner on down here on your skin. Now, reason for me using a brush instead of a pencil is because the brush actually helps me to smudge at the same time. So if you've ever gone throughout the day and wonder why under here is getting those dark circles or it looks really, really dark here, it's probably because the oils from your eyes probably making the oils mix in with the eyeliner and it's causing it to smudge. So what you want to do to avoid that is to smudge it out as much as you can with the brush, and that way it doesn't have a reason to kind of smudge out. And also we're going to go over this as well with our setting powder. Mind you, whenever you use a cream makeup, you want to set it with a powder. So this, I do have the Sasha matte face powder. I'm using a lighter color here. Again, with my beauty blender that's still moist, I'm just gonna pat in the powder, and I'm gonna go under the eye here. And you can also get this on the eyeliner that you just applied, and that'll kind of set it as well so that you don't have to worry about the oils. And again, I'm only worried about so much under the eye. Like normally when I apply my concealer, I bring it all the way down here and set the whole thing. But because I'm going to have on a mask, I'm not going to worry about that. And so we're going to go back, add a little bit more, and we're going to do where we had our concealer. Okay. And for me, normally I would contour my nose, but it's not worth it this time. So I'm going to take a blush brush, and if there's any loose powder left, you're just going to go back over it, brush it up a little bit to make sure that you get that excess off. And I did mention that I was going to add my lashes. I'm an extra girl. Now, and I'll teach you really quickly about the lashes. One of the things is, and I use this super strong glue. This one is by NMB, and you can find this in your local beauty supply store, or you can look it up online. It's by NMB. It's I-ENV NMV, and this is the Super Stronghold. I believe it comes in a white, but this dries up clear, and then it comes in black. And I really like this one. It does last all day. So one of the tricks I always say, and I know most people say this is the hardest part, let the glue dry just a little bit until it's like sticky. Right now it looks kind of like Elmer's glue, and I'll show you. It's white, it looks like Elmer's glue. You want to kind of wait until it starts to turn a little bit clear before you stick it to your eye, because once you stick it on, at least then it's stuck in place, and you know, you're able to deal with it a little bit better, versus if I tried to put this on right now, because the glue is so wet, it's going to start to move and it's going to slide, and by the time the glue actually turns sticky, I'm going to have glue everywhere and it won't look right. Another thing is, if you're not used to putting on lashes, I highly suggest using your tweezers, more so in the middle and the inside of it, so when you get ready to place it, you can place it. And my eyes are open, but I kind of like to look up here and place the lash. It's not quite ready yet, so I'll show you that technique in a minute. Now, I want to back up a little bit, back to the eyeshadow. One of the things, if you are doing a darker eyeshadow, let's say you're doing a smoky eye, I would not recommend using a lighter eyeshadow base, as light as we use today, because you're using a black eyeshadow and you want it to look as smoky as possible. You want it to look dark. So you don't want to put a light base under it, because it's going to look more gray than it will black. So I would go with a concealer, a darker concealer maybe. Maybe even one of skin tone color. Go with that concealer instead of using the eyeshadow base. Make sure you blend it out as much. They do have cream concealers, and then they also have the liquid concealers. If you're using a liquid, make sure it's a thick enough base. If not, then you can always, you know, go back in with the brush like I showed you and pat it in place. So that's that. Our glue should be ready. You can always blow on the glue as well if you're in a rush for time. So I think this is getting a little bit better. Yeah, I can see in some spots it's starting to turn a little bit clearer. So here's what the glue looks like. On camera it probably still looks really white, but it's almost ready. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this on. So I'm going to take this lash, and I always set the middle down first, and then I set down the inside, and finally the outer corner. And you can press that in with the back of the tweezers. And these lashes I just got from my local beauty supply store. It's by the brand Cherry Blossom. This is the 3D silk. Oops, sorry. So, and these are a little bit longer, but they do have shorter lashes. They're like $1.50 if you want to just play around with the lashes. Yeah, so, and if you are not a lash person, and excuse me, I normally put my mascara on after. That way I can nicely blend my natural lash with the lash. I try not to get mascara on the lash itself, because I do rewear my lashes. These are pretty good. They're sturdy enough to where I can rewear them. You can always just go in with the mascara to finish your look if you're not into lashes. You don't have to be super extra like I am. This mascara is it's actually Lashcraft Length and Volume. I bought this at Sephora. It is a Sephora brand mascara, but I do like this one a lot. It does give that extra volume for anyone who does not know how to or not interested in doing the lashes. And I also just go back and bring out my lower lash with that. Kind of bring my lashes out a little bit more in the bottom. So that's the look with the lash and without the lash. but I am going to go ahead and set on my next lash. So again, I'm just looking up a little bit, setting down the middle, and on this lash, I don't know why I do that. So I'm going to set the inner corner in for last. And again, you can use your liner, your eyeliner as your guide. You kind of want to stick to the bottom of the liner, not so much on the top, so your eye is still lined once you put your lash down. Let me go back and put mascara on the bottom lash here. Okay. And voila. So, I mean, you can always go back if you want to put blush here or anything like that. I personally wouldn't recommend it because you are going to have on a face mask nowadays anyways. And so with the mask, you'll end up getting blush and all those things on there. So we're going to go ahead and put our mask on, and I'll show you how exactly where the mask hits so that you know where to use, and you can use the mask as a guide to know where to put makeup. And so now here we have our eyes done here. So this is why I did this part, and then the head, the forehead. And so we're fully covered. Our eyes are done, and we're ready to go. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. NMB Discovery Library on YouTube will be the link. There'll also be descriptions of the products that I've used down below. If you have any questions, just ask down below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding this look. Again, this is a neutral look. And you can use any of those tips for even like a color eyeshadow if you want it to go a little bit more extravagant than a neutral look. And I'll be willing to answer any of your questions going forward. So thank you for joining us at the North Miami Beach Library. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. I should turn it off.